All right, we're back here at Denmark Drone Park. A little more wet than normal, but was able to call in some help from my Jewish brethren and get them to call off the rain so we can come out here and do this flight test. I have QGroundControl, or I had QGroundControl open along with the iVue RC app and World's iVue open until QGroundControl went ahead and crashed. We're going to reconnect here to this Develop Air. This is one of our base models of a Develop Air built with 4 discrete ESCs. As I mentioned, we did a little bit of a preview of this Develop Air during our flight with the Develop Air Mini yesterday, but we did not quite have it ready for flying. And technically speaking, it's ready for flying, but I do need to set up some radio parameters just to make sure we receive all the messaging back correctly back in QGroundControl or the iVue RC app. So let me go ahead and just get this USB-C connection solidified. And it looks like the USB-C connection, there's an extension cable in each of these Develop Air that brings a USB-C port out to the back of the fuselage. And it looks like it was not pushed in far enough, but I think we just got a solid connection there. Yeah. We're getting Develop Air to boot up now. All right. And before we do the compass and accelerometer calibration, which will also be needed for flight, we will go ahead and set up these MLRS radio parameters. So just going back to our document, again, made available via the iVue Robotics website. Just go to the download section and you'll be able to find them there. Let's go ahead and set all the SR1 parameters first, and then we'll do the serial 1 parameter. So SR1 extra stat is 2, and then extra 1 is 4. We'll start with those two. 2, and then 4. Let me verify. All right. And then 2 is 4, and then 3 is 2. All right. Parameters is 50. Position is 2. And we just had QGroundControl crash on us. Let's see how many of those parameters were set. All of them should have set, but we'll verify here in just a moment. And it looks like it crashed because the USB-C connection, again, just not the greatest, most snug fit. Or it's actually really too snug. There's a couple layers of heat shrink that go around the USB-C cable, or the female connector of the USB-C cable, and sometimes the tolerance is so you can just kind of mechanically fit it in there. Other times we actually need to cut off one of the layers of heat shrink and then glue using some CA glue to hold that USB-C extension cable in there. All right, but back to reality, or the parameters. SR1 RC channel is 1 hertz. Okay. And SR1 position is 2 hertz. I don't even know if we hit save on that one, so I don't think we had to actually reset any of those parameters. Serial 1 options. 4096. And remember, with this selection, you need to select manual entry and then 4096. Now we'll need to reboot again. All right, and now we should be good to go without this pesky USB connection. And the only time we should need to use this cable for the rest of today is if we get to the flight with the PlayStation controller and the iVue RC app. So let's go ahead and open up QGroundControl. Before we switch over to the iVue RC app, just going to plug in the telemetry radio for us to do the compass and accelerometer calibration. While you really shouldn't ever have to use QGroundControl or Mission Planner, really hopefully ever again from this point moving forward to fly Develop Air, we really don't have all the configuration or setup options that you need, like to do a compass calibration or accelerometer calibration, to do motor testing, any of that built out in the iVue RC app. So while you can use Mission Planner, I personally prefer to use QGroundControl for most of this setup and configuration. I could not make it look any easier to put the top cover on. And we'll do a quick little check just to make sure it's on securely. It's not going to pop off. And look at that. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. So MLRS radio is flashing red as it should, as we're not connected. Since the field's wet, I'm going to use this Develop Air mini case for at least the compass and accelerometer calibration. We'll see if we use it as a landing or launch pad or not. Wow, look at that, 22 satellites. All right, so I'll probably need a little bit of help from our producer to do this, and cameraman Brian, if you'll come over here and help me with the accelerometer calibration to kind of speed up this process, or if you would prefer to do the holding, whichever you prefer. All right. And here we have it, ladies and gentlemen, the most beautiful of drones, Develop Air, until Omnibot Air comes out. And as I mentioned in a previous video, Develop Air with the red and black props, as opposed to the Develop Air Mini with the white props, probably up there with the best looking Develop Air model. But the Develop Air XE, which we'll have, is it left side? It feels wrong, but I'm gonna go with you. All right. All right. All right. Okay. All right. The most green, the greatest accelerometer calibration. All right, and we'll need to do a compass calibration, but you should be able to hold the shot over there, and I'll get that set up really quickly. All right, it looks like I may need a reboot before doing the compass calibration, so let's go ahead and do that. Looks like we are getting some sort of bug where you should be able to go directly from the accelerometer calibration to the compass calibration, but we got a message indicating the compass calibration was done when it clearly was not. So hopefully that was just indeed a UI bug of some sort, or a ground control software bug, QGroundControl bug, and not a hardware problem. So let's see. Okay. And dun, 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 dun. Let's see how well this turns out. I'm gonna blame my watch if, oh man, the battery didn't slide until just then either. Oh, we have an RTK GPS, so this isn't even technically the standard base model. This is a developer with a upgraded GPS unit, so let's see how well we did. Both in the yellow, kind of barely so. We will select OK, we will reboot, and we'll try again, and let's hope for better. That's the best strategy, ladies and gentlemen, hope. That's about all we got. Hope, love, and faith. Something like that. Yeah, I mean, the compass is technically good to go, but we're going to try it again. Take off my watch. Don't think anything in my wallet, especially with it being carbon fiber, should affect it, but let's try again. Try to keep the battery more still as well. I definitely did not see a wire pinched under the top cover. But as we saw, it was a nice tight fit, so I'm not gonna fuck with it. Let's see if we did much, if any, better. Dun, 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 dun. Holy cow, that might be the worst compass calibration I've ever seen. All right. We're going to pretend that did not happen. And we're going to reboot. We're going to have QGroundControl crash on us again. So, you know, maybe my watch was not as much of a problem as I was thinking it would be. What's up? Yeah, quite a bit. All right. Third time's the charm, as they say, right? Compass. My hands are getting so cold, my dainty little hands. I don't have small hands, I have large hands, large gloves. You know what they say. Oh man, I can already tell this is not going to be great. And I say that, and then it's going to be like the best ever. The best compass calibration. Both as high in the green as it can possibly get. No, there's no way. All right. What say you, compass calibration-o-meters? One in the yellow, one in the red. Mr. Compass Calibration Dance Expert, you want to give it a go? And by want to give it a go, reluctantly give it a go? Dun da da dun da da dun da da da. All right, you're ready. You're about a third of the way through, about half of the way through, about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through, about 85% of the way through, and just about done. And about the same as I just did, one in the yellow, one in the red. So let's go ahead, try it again. All right, go ahead. You spin me round, right, baby, right round, like a record, baby, right round, right round, and upside down and all around. One borderline yellow, red, and one in the yellow. Let's, if you'll try it one more time, if you don't get it, then I'll try it again. And if we get both in the yellow, we'll roll with it. Also might need to change the orientation of the battery. I didn't really take note of it. I thought I might have, but I can't definitively say that the sticker is facing up like I think it should. One in the red, one in the yellow. All right. I'll give it the good old college try. Once again, we all know how my college try went. We got company. This is the greatest pose. The arch back. Oh my fucking goodness gracious. Cut that. One all the way in the red, one in the yellow. All right. We're gonna try it again. I will run it back. God damn it! Gosh darn it! There's no way. Da, 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 da. Oh man. We'll reboot and then we'll try it again. I think that may actually have an effect. Rebooting for whatever reason. And if that doesn't, we'll try another battery that we have. Because the orientation looked like it should be alright of that battery. We have 32 satellites as well. What the? Well, we don't have 32 satellites. That developer has a connection to 32 satellites. Sensors, compass. All right. We're just gonna let that battery slip and slide. It's nice and wet out here anyway. Oh, fuck. All right. I have no idea why all of a sudden we're getting such an awful compass calibration. It's faking gay. And I said we're gonna try a new battery before I give up on this one. Let me go ahead and rebooting it the good old-fashioned way of disconnecting power. And And then I'm going to see if I can make this battery a little bit tighter, because as we covered previously, I like it tight, tight, tight. Nice. Seems nice and tight. Tight enough for me anyway. And while I'm at it, I'm definitely not going to tuck in that cable, that wire that was sticking out into the lid of the top cover, or the lip of the fuselage the top cover goes onto. All right, all right, all right. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Dun, da, da, dun, da, da, dun, da, da, da. Dun, da, 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 da. All right, one borderline green and the other one is yellow. We are certainly going to take it and roll with it. Proof, ladies and gentlemen, that it's sometimes not a hardware software problem. It's just a go F yourself problem, and persistence and patience trumps most, if not all. All right. And for whatever reason, QGroundControl did not reboot either. So it looks like we are fine to fly even in loiter flight mode. No, speak too soon, need position estimate. Let's go ahead and wait till we get the position estimate here in QGroundControl. We have it, so we should be fine to go ahead and switch over to the iVue RC app and take off as soon as we get props on. So going to set up the iVue RC app here, connect using the MLRS radio, and it registers that we're in loiter flight mode. Getting a set of props. All right. All right. Prop 1 on. Prop 2, you're next. Just realizing some of these motor caps are taller than the others, so they're not all on an even plane, but that shouldn't make too much, if any, of a difference. Just looks like KDE, the motor, not really manufacturer, since it's an American company that makes them over in China, unless the Chinese manufacturers rolled up under KDE, but I doubt the Chinese government would let that happen and not make it a Chinese entity. All right, well, we'll go ahead and move out this case, just in case developer tips over on takeoff, or worse. The ground around the case is a lot softer. unlike my heart. Alright, so we will start off with just a basic hover. We don't really have a fully charged battery, but we should really be good enough to get no less than 5, probably 10 or more minutes of flight time. So we'll go ahead, just fly drone, arm and fly, and launch. And let's see how well this works. And the rotation is back, so it doesn't look like it's an ESC problem, which is kind of good, but on the other hand, what the hell is it? So it's almost got to be an MLRS radio problem, but I don't know. Gosh darned it all. Well, let's see. It might have to be an MLRS radio problem because we didn't experience any of these problems with the developer HP that we sent out to the customer that we won't name since we didn't get their permission to name them. But other than just continuously rotating, it's flying all right. The landing's probably not going to be too smooth, but don't you wish your developer was red like me? Oh, no, no, no. Oh! Oh, man. Should probably disarm it in QGroundControl since the disarm wasn't just working, but well, more troubleshooting to be done. Still all in one piece. Just need to clean off those props, but I think that's about it for the test flying we're gonna get accomplished here today. New developer built and flying, not in the right way, but stay tuned and we'll have this back up and running. Hopefully also with a 4-in-1 kind of clone of this, at least from an external perspective. Not necessarily the same GPS, same top cover, but otherwise we should have a couple of developer out here in the next week or so, along with a developer XE, maybe even a first time ever developer micro, and probably some more developer mini testing. But if nothing else, you'll catch us in the next one. Appreciate you watching.